As artists, we use the mouse and keyboard in many different ways, but when you need something that's dedicated, ergonomic and customizable, you're generally forced to spend thousands for the right tools. But there is one that's just as flexible but also affordable. Well, this is the palette. So dedicated tools generally allow you to speed up your workflow by giving you specific tactile functions to actions that would either need a combination of key presses, but more importantly, it allows you to keep your eyes and focus on the work. Now, I've been using this for a few weeks, and what you're essentially looking at are little aluminium cubes that magnetically connect to one another to serve whatever function you choose. Currently, there's 3 different modules. There's a high sensitivity linear fader, which is great for assigning things like volume control and exposure. There's a clickable dial with an infinite rotation, which is great for anything that doesn't need hard stops. So think things like positioning tools in After Effects, or even scrolling through tabs in Chrome. And finally, there's an arcade style button, which works well for short actions such as queuing up audio clips if you're using it as a MIDI controller. To be honest, the really nice thing about this is the modularity. If your specific workflow needs for, let's say, only sliders, then great, just buy more, and it only gets better as they're all hot swappable. So no turning off, no reloading any program. It's just a really good and easy way to work. The core unit comes equipped with an OLED screen relaying real-time info for your specific profiles and the program you're working with. So if it helps, you can even select the color for each module based on the profile or even the specific function. It's completely up to you. In practice, this is a super quick and easy way to know exactly where you are. As you would imagine, the software is a massive part of this, which makes or breaks the palette. The nice thing here is that given its modularity, this has incredible potential for expansion and new features, because essentially these are just switches. So you download the palette app, and from there you can see your current config, layout, and essentially determine how you're going to use it. Currently there's full support for most of the Adobe suite, such as Premiere, After Effects, and Lightroom, but there's loads more too, with some still in beta, such as Final Cut Pro. Music creators will be happy, as the palette can act as a MIDI controller, and gamers can even assign the arcade buttons to act as macros. I'm still coming up with tons of new profiles every day, but the ones that I've settled with so far are specific ones for Premiere. So for example, I have one purely for finishing, which includes XY motion for dialers and temperature and tints for sliders. Finally, I have a button dedicated just to switch profiles within Premiere. So in addition to finishing, I have one specific for vignettes and another for timeline management. One of the very few negatives has to be down to its most unique thing, the magnetic modularity. This by nature will stop you from using it on your lap or any uneven surface, because it's just not strong enough. It'll disconnect, which is a slight shame, but I suppose you could just keep a thin backing board for when you're on the move. And there's still tons of development still to be done on the software side. The modules are far more capable than they currently are, especially the dial with the clickable button, because at the moment, there's no way you can specifically assign what that click does. And finally, I want to see more modules, especially a trackball, because for grading, that would be awesome. And to be honest, it will just allow it to compete with some of the higher end boards. So there's a lot to be said about the palette. The main benefits are, of course, having dedicated controls for functions that you regularly use, but what I love the most and what affects me the most is just the time that it saves you. So for example, something small such as cropping or rotation, instead of pressing the tool, grabbing the corner and trying to intricately rotate it with the mouse, I can simply just grab the dial and that's it, I'm done. Small things like this just save so much time. The other thing is that it just gives people like us who can't afford to spend thousands on a dedicated board a chance to have a workflow that's similar. It's intuitive, it works well, and more than anything, it's just exciting. I love products like these. So let me know what you think down below, and as always, thank you so much for watching. Take it easy, and I will see you soon.